My name is Louisa, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this evening session. I don't like to talk plenty because if I talk plenty, I'm diluting the information. So, we are here this evening to just listen to people who have what I will call a lot of insight about a topic. These are two different dynamics or perspectives of life that majority of us find ourselves. I'm sure if you are, yes, please pardon me, I'm in transit, so you may hear a lot of background noise, but kindly forgive me. I should settle soon. So, as I was saying, we are all familiar with these two perspectives of life. Either you are working or you are schooling towards building a career. And you have all experienced love in one way or the other, not necessarily romantic, family life, having some kind of friendships. Friendships are also love relationships. So this evening, we are just here to understand, not to necessarily choose, but if our speakers are to give us opportunity to choose, what would you choose, love or career? So let's gain more insight about these two perspectives of life. So without much ado, I would introduce our first speaker, who is going to take the first section of today's meeting. And he is in the person of Mr. Godwin Amuzu. Godwin is, should I say, a brother to me, if I'm allowed to. We go way back, and I'm very honored and happy to introduce him this evening. He happens to be the founder of one of the societies that I'm actively involved in, and I love what Godwin is doing with the society. It's called the Safe Family Safe Society. This foundation, it's a foundation, I should say, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Godwin, when you call one. It's a foundation or an organization that is dedicated towards strengthening human connections. So if we are putting him on here to talk about love, you should understand his foundation is geared towards strengthening human connections and restoring the foundation of families and relationships. He's deeply passionate about guiding individuals towards emotional healing. That's sweet. Self-discovery, purpose, and a cultivation of healthy romantic relationships. Okay. I'm sure you are all getting the feel of who our speaker is and what he can give us tonight. Godwin is also a member of the Ghana Psychological Association and is currently pursuing a master's degree in professional counseling at University of Ghana. Through his work, he seeks to bridge faith, psychology, and practical wisdom to help people thrive both physically and relationally. I have spoken too much, even though I said I don't talk too much. Please, without much ado, Mr. Godwin Amuzu, please, if you're on the call, the platform is for you. Philasi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to you all. Please, I hope you can clearly see me and hear me.
Yes, founder.
I'm very steady. Awesome. Louisa, thank you for the warm introduction. Mr. Our Counselor Bright, thank you for having me. It's a great honor to, share this platform with you. So I'm really honored. And for those of you who have joined us, I'm especially grateful to you because I believe you are here for a reason. You want to learn so you can also apply some of the things we'll be teaching you into your own personal life. And it's an honor for us to have you here. Thank you so much for making time to join us. In the short minutes I have, we will look at the topic as a way of, introducing and paving the way for my boss to come and do justice to the work. We are looking at love or career, and I wish it was love and career because these are two most important decisions that we will make or we are already making as individuals. And the ideal sense and my personal prayer for us is that there wouldn't be a collision, there wouldn't be a confusion, there wouldn't be having to choose one over the other, but it will not be an or, it will be an end. But then again, as a counselor, I understand that the reality on the ground may not be that situation, and that is why the purpose of this meeting is to bridge the gap and see how we can make wise decisions as we journey the course of life in our romantic life and also in our career life, so we don't neglect the other. So I want to begin with a story and that I want us to reflect on as we go through this lecture. So Amma always dreamed of becoming a lawyer. Okay. From Legon to law school, she pushed through financial hardship, long nights, and endless exams. During her national service, she met Kofi, kind, prayerful, and ambitious. So they fell in love. I know I'm telling someone's story. A year later, Amma received an offer to pursue a master's degree abroad, and it was her breakthrough moment because it came with scholarship, and because she was struggling financially, she knew that this can only be but through divine appointment. So she had that scholarship to go and pursue masters abroad, and it was a breakthrough moment for her. But Kofi said, if you leave, what happens to us? Can't you stay so we can settle down? My mother is already asking when we will get married. When we will get married. Amma began shrinking her dream to fit the relationship. She told herself, "Love is sacrifice." So Lisa, please, when it's 7 minutes to end my session, kindly alert me. Okay, thank you. She began shrinking her dream to fit. Okay. Okay. She began shrinking her dream to fit the relationship. She told herself, love is sacrifice. So she declined the scholarship to go and study her master's abroad. 5 years later, she was married, but very restless. Every time she saw someone argue a case on TV, something inside her whispered, that could have been you. But she loved her husband. She loved her husband, but she quietly wondered, did I choose love or did I abandon myself? So this is the end of the story, and it's a real life case I'm using here, or I just used. So I just want us to reflect on it and ask ourselves questions whether was Amma wrong to make the decision or the choice she made? Was Kofi wrong? Or there was something deeper missing, or something else could have been done, or something can still be done. Okay, I know if I open the channel for conversations, you guys will have myriad of answers to give, but because of the time, I just want you to reflect on it as we look through this conversation. Love or career? How do you choose one without losing the other? Like I said, it's a dilemma for most people because these are two most important decisions that will verily affect the trajectory of your life. Career, which I tie it to your purpose or your life's assignment, very key, very important. Your love relationship or your romantic relationship, also equally very important because as human beings, we desire companionship and you don't want to journey the course of life alone. Okay, even though you have a life's purpose to pursue, even in some situation, it is even by divine orchestration that you get a partner to support this divine assignment you have. So it becomes a difficult seat for people to handle. And the ideal situation, and my prayer for you once again, is that you wouldn't have to be confused about which path to choose because you find your career, you find your path, and you will also find your partner who will be in sync and will be in support of your life's purpose and career, whether male or female. But then again, I can't be oblivious to the fact that in real situation or in real scenario, that may not be the case for everyone. Okay. um it is again easier to sit back and presume that, oh, if I'm in that situation, I'll choose love, or if I'm in that situation, I'll choose career. It is easier to presume that, but there are a lot of factors that comes to bear that we must all be mindful of. I know that because of the time, I will not be able to comprehensively handle everything I'm supposed to go through tonight. But so as a result, I want to just give us some few food for thoughts that I want us to reflect on. So even if I'm not able to complete my session, this food for thought will really help you if you find yourself in that situation and you have to make a decision. Okay. Like I said, it is easier to sit back and presume that I'll choose love, I'll choose career. I think I placed the poll in our my teams group, my foundation teams group, and our sister pages, asking if they had to choose between love and career, which one they would choose. And most of them were honest to tell me that God is a difficult choice. I don't know which one to choose. Yes, of course, it should be a difficult choice because those are two most important decisions one will ever make in a lifetime or in a life's course. But then there are some factors that comes to bear that can help you, or that one must be mindful of if they are going to navigate this course of choosing career and also choosing love. Okay, one of the factors is cultural expectations and pressure. Whether you are choosing love, whether you are choosing pressure, will be heavily influenced by cultural expectations. If, especially in this part of the country, I'm contextualizing our conversation to Africa and Ghana. So if it doesn't apply to you, I'm sure you still have enough to learn, but I want to really hit the nail at the head. So if you are in this part of the country or if you are within the confines of Africa, for a girl or for a lady, the expectation is for you to quickly settle down in marriage. But for a man, the expectation is for you to make money, for you to be financially capable. And because most cases your finance will one way or the other be tied to your career path or your purpose, then it is easier for a man to presumably choose career over love at a certain phase of their life because of cultural expectation. Okay, and for a woman, there is always that desperation for you to settle down quickly. So cultural expectation and pressure will play a major role in as to where to go, what to do at every point in time. Your relationship status will also play another crucial role. And that is why I advise that in your single years, even if you are in a relationship, note that you are still not married. So you are still in your single years, okay? Until we do proper engagement and marriage, you are still single. Most of the focus and the attention should be on self to an extent. Your ambitions, your dreams, your purpose, your career, your academics, and all of those things. You need to give a sizable amount of time to those things because you are doing them now because a time will come where you have to share your life with someone and you wouldn't have the luxury of time to just stand up, make decisions and be on the go. No, you have to now negotiate with someone else because you move from you to us when you get there. That is why it is important that if you are not yet married, if you are not yet even in a promising relationship, devote enough time to pursue the career you have or to pursue the path that lies ahead of you. But you see, if you are not in a relationship, even you don't have any cause for confusion because you know this is where you are going and you don't have to really negotiate with anyone, right? Because this is your career path. But if you're in a relationship, then sometimes your non-negotiables sometimes can become negotiables. You need to now sit down with your partner and have some conversations with them. So what I'm trying to say is that where you are at every point in time will determine which path to choose or what decision to make. If you are not in a relationship, your dilemma may be minimal compared to the one who is in a promising relationship. In the case of Amma, who wanted to go abroad to study her law program, but because of love, she had to, think a lot, think outside the box, and she decided she was going to settle down and choose that offer over marriage. So your relationship status can also influence the decision. Okay, childhood trauma can also play a role. If you are the type who has issue or struggles with separation anxiety, or you have issues with attachment and detaching, that can also be play a factor. If your love language is physical touch, always wanting to be in the presence of your partner, that can also be a factor because if you are in the case of Amma and you have to make a decision of going abroad and your partner doesn't doesn't really see you or feel you when there is a distance, or you can't handle long distance relationships, that is also going to be a problem or a challenge. So all these things must also be factored. If you or your partner, you are a bit insecure and the advancement of your partner means being a shadow of yourself, that can also play a role in this decision being made because sometimes your partner may be insecure. They see your advancement as a threat to their own masculinity or identity or femininity. So therefore, it becomes difficult a choice to just stand up and make because you are considering your partner and the fact that should you tell them about this promotion, should you hide this offer from them, should you just jackpot go and without letting them know, should you coin the situation in a way that you can't do anything about it. Sometimes people try to do it that way that, oh babe, this is the situation at hand though, and I and I can't do anything about it. So that the person will know that you don't have any role in the decision being made just because you feel the person may be insecure if you are making this decision. That can also be a factor to consider. Sometimes personality can also be a factor. There are some people who are generally agreeable. They always want to work with their partners. For them, they don't just stand up and make decisions if they have to choose between love and career or career. They want to sit down and ensure their partner is on the same page with them before they flow. But some people have strong personality. They care, but they don't care. They are with you, but they're not with you. If an offer comes, master, they go. You can say this is for their wicked, this is for their insensitive. No, it's their personality, it comes with their traits. A strong choleric, they've heard you, well, they love you, but they are choosing their career any day, anytime. Okay, so all those things comes to bear. If someone is generally selfish, that one can also come to bear. When they get an offer, they are not thinking about you or the relationship right now. They are thinking about them and what they can do to succeed. So even in their communication, they don't communicate with hindsight of bringing you on board that, oh babes, I'm pursuing this path, or I'm pursuing this so that eventually we can be together, so that eventually we can stay together, so that eventually we can settle down. They are thinking about themselves at the moment. Those things can also play out in this decision. Sometimes financial constraints. Some people really want to pursue their career, but they don't have the means. Again, in the case of Amma in the story I read, she struggled through school and she had the scholarship. And you see, it's a one-time scholarship. Some of these offer they come but once. So if you don't take advantage of them, then they are gone. That can also be your situation where I wish I could stay. I wish I can make this work, but this offer that is ahead of me is only a one-time offer. That is in the case of career. It can be in the case of a partner that I can't just let this person go. This guy is too good. This lady is too good. I can't afford losing them. So sometimes you are tempted to put the career on hold or not pursue it so much because you want this person to stay. So financial constraints in on the side of the career can be an issue. Scarcity or the rarity of the partner you are dating can also come to bear, where they don't want you to pursue this or take up this opportunity, and flaunting that means losing them, and then it becomes a challenge because you also don't want to lose them, and you also have your career to advance. So the scarcity of the person, the quality of the person can also play a role. Okay, sometimes divine direction or divine appointment, you can have the nudge that at this point I need to put my relationship on hold and pursue my career. This one, it comes with being in tune with your spirit, being in tune with your guts, being prayerful, being very sensitive. At that point, your logic may not be able to make the right decision, but if you are in tune, okay, by divine appointment, by divine direction, you can know that, okay, I'm putting everything on hold, I'm pushing my career no matter what my partner says, because I feel the nudge to do that. Or in this season, I'm prioritizing my relationship and I can take the career one step at a time. Or whatever you have to do, divine appointment or divine direction can also play a role. Okay, sometimes the particular season you find yourself in can also play a role. You may be in a season, especially if you are single, you are in the season of just focusing on yourself and giving it your best. When you introduce another person into the equation, then it's not all about you, it's about both of you, and what the decision you make must affect the quality of the relationship. So the particular season can also play a role. And finally, your priority or your preference. Some people will naturally gear towards love and they don't care the consequences. Some people will naturally prioritize their career or their work, and no matter who you are, you can go. For them, in this life, you win some, you lose some. They choose their career, they believe in the course of life, they'll find someone whilst they are pursuing their career, and they can roll it out from there. So these pointers I just gave you are to help you in your reflection, even as you reflect on the story I read to you, and as we go through this lecture, so that if you have to make such decision, you are thinking around these areas. Okay, so they can guide you. Now, in the context of Africa, especially for in the case of a woman, marriage or relationship can be a milestone of maturity for them. So you can go through your career, you can be ambitious and all of those things, but in society, your families and your friends, they don't even see you as you've really arrived until they see a ring on your finger. Okay, so I want you to also be aware of that. Marriage for a woman or relationship can also be seen as a sign of success. So no matter how successful you are, there is that cultural expectation that until you are married, until you have kids, you are not really successful. These things can really affect your decision of settling down or your decision of choosing your career. Okay, family expectation, which is tied to cultural expectation. Some people, some women also see marriage as a sense of career for them. And before you start, wondering, I want you to know that that is a reality even in the 21st century. I know we are all about feminism, yes, and I am also a feminist. But feminism means we give the woman the right to make their own decision, right? Feminism means we give them that safe space for them to decide to be who they want to be, not backed by any cultural pressure or family expectation or whatnot. They decide on their own accord. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a dentist. I want to be even an electrician. I want to be a carpenter. I want to be a counselor, whatever they want to be. If they say, I want to be a lecturer, I want to be a stay at home mom, I see my marriage as my ministry, I see my marriage as my career. Of course, we should allow them if that is not being backed by any unreasonable expectation. Up there, right? That is how they also see and view their marriage. So for them, they are not really, they don't have issue with dilemma about career or love. They've merged both, that their love is their career, and reasonably so. We shouldn't pressurize you. The only caveat I'll give is that because of the economical situation we find ourselves in, it is equally good for you to be a bit economically empowered, even as a woman. So in this case, I'm speaking to the woman. You should be a bit economically empowered, because sometimes power imbalance in marriages, it can be funny. As humans as we are, yeah, the guy or your man or your husband can be very good, godly, and all, but there is this, because we are fleshly as individuals, because we struggle and battle with sin, because we are naturally selfish. It takes the grace of God for us to, be operating in selflessness. When there is power on balance in the relationship, where the man carries the whole financial load, some men can start behaving funny sometimes. Okay, I'm not using that to give you um, a wrong motivation for being economically empowered. I'm only saying that it goes to your advantage. That even though your marriage or your love is your ministry and your career, you also have at least something doing that brings some economical advantage to you. Okay, it helps balance the home in a way. There are situations where you may need to support your husband financially because he may not be able to carry the financial load all the time. Sudden loss of a job in the life of your husband, or if there's a financial loss, a wrong investment made, at that point your husband may depend on you to, be supporting one way or the other. In the case of death, God forbid, in the case of divorce, God forbid, you have to take that role of providing financially for at least your kids and all of those things. So it is even good that even if your marriage or you are passionate about marriage and marriage is your career or whatnot, still be economically empowered. It helps. Okay. For the men, being financially stable before marriage is emphasized. So it is natural that in this part of the country we see that the men will preferably choose career over love, because for them they are thinking about, I need to provide for my home, so I need to make money first before I think of a partner, and their identity in most cases are tied to their masculinity. So that is why the woman should learn this. So if your man loses his job or he can't provide for the woman, or it has a way of affecting his esteem or his worth or his identity. Okay, so you also know how to speak to him and all of that, because it can be pressurizing, even especially from society and all of that. So now I'm saying all this to say that when love and career now collides, it's not just a personal choice, it is cultural. Okay, other external factors are involved. But the real question is not love or career. The real question is, does this love expand me or reduce me? Does this love add to me or take away from me? So let's go through some research. Okay, there is the self-expansion theory that was written by Aaron, and according to him, he says that healthy love should expand your identity. So research has shown that relationship satisfaction increases when your partner encourages growth. So relationship satisfaction spikes up. You are satisfied in your relationship when your partner encourages you to grow. In the master's degree program I'm currently pursuing, one of my colleagues told me that it is the husband who pushed her to come and pursue this master's program. They are doing well financially. She's a businesswoman. She owns a lot of shop. So she's economically empowered herself, but the husband saw the opportunity that no, since we are in church and you also help the woman one way or the other and their marital issues and all, I want you to add professionalism to what you do. The woman didn't agree, but he insisted, and now she's pursuing the program. And the program can be very stressful because it's a weekend program in addition to your weekday work. So when sometimes it gets overwhelming, she goes to pour it on the husband, and the husband says, "No, like we can do it." Sometimes when if the husband is demanding some things from her, she's not able to give. It's because she's stressed out as a result of the master's program. The husband understands because he encouraged her to go. So there is satisfaction in your relationship when your partner encourages growth. When you feel bigger or you feel prioritized in your relationship and you are not seen as secondary, your partner doesn't give that idea that it is their job or their career or their money over everything else, but they see you as a partner that they are doing life with. That really increases satisfaction, according to Aaron and Aaron. So in a Ghanaian setting, if a woman wants to start a business and your partner goes like, who will take care of the house? Then it should tell you that this is not someone who is really looking at negotiation. It may either be bound by cultural concern or his ideology may a bit be altered. Okay. Instead of that, if you are the man, you are looking at asking your partner, how can we plan this very well so that it doesn't affect the long term or the longevity of our relationship? That is someone who is thinking right or who has an expansion ideology or mentality. Now, if you should ask me as a counselor, what time will be best for you to pursue your career? The little experience I'm even gaining from the masters we are doing now, about 90% of my colleagues are actually anxious. They are going through a lot because they have to juggle between the demands of the program, their marriage life. They have to take care of their husband or take care of their wives and also their children in addition to their work. So that can be loads and loads of stress. So again, my advice is that if you are financially capable, it's advisable and you are not in a relationship, you are more advantaged. So they always tell me that God, who they win now because don't worry and you don't really have responsibilities like some of us. So I advise that you pursue your career now, give it your all, put your money, invest into it, give it your all now. Okay, if you are not married, it will really, really help you. Now, does it mean after marriage you can't pursue your career? Of course not, you could. But you are putting more pressure on yourself now that you are not married. So that when you get married, at least chunk of the work has been done. Then the rest will be a little here, a little there. Because the truth is that you see, marriage is an institution, and under every institution there are administrations. And under every administration there are regulations that needs to guide how the institution to be run effectively. If you are on your own, you make your own decisions. When you get married, now you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your partner, the health of the relationship, in addition to the decision you would have to make. So sometimes people are like, oh, after he got married, he or she, okay, stop pursuing anything about self. Sometimes it is not like you are seeing it because you're not in the marriage to actually know what's going on. Sometimes you have to think of your partner, you have to think of your children, their age, before you think about moving abroad or moving outside of that region to go and pursue whatever you need to pursue. Okay, thank you, Louisa. Points well noted. So a lot of things comes to bear. So if you are not married, Charlie, you are more advantaged to pursue now. Now, even if you don't have the financial without, like myself, I didn't have the money to even pursue this program I'm doing. So it took some time for me to get into this program. But I was pursuing self help books, I was reading books, I was studying, I was going online, researching, reading, and writing, doing a lot for myself. The little time I had, I channeled it into something worthwhile. You need it now because when you get married, you now have to juggle. The time is no longer yours. And for those of you who are Christians, the Bible says though that the one who is single is only concerned about the Lord, how he may please the Lord. The Lord himself, his purpose, his career, whatever. But the married man or woman is thinking about his partner, how he may please his partner. So even the Bible gives that room that when you get married, don't just stand up and say, I'm doing whatever I want to do. No, you are thinking about the welfare and the well being of your partner. And that is why this is really you putting your hands under your jaw and thinking. Okay, it's very, very important. So studies again shows that if you have a partner who supports you, it predicts higher job satisfaction. You are satisfied in your job, even if your job doesn't earn or pay you so much. that because you have that love support from your partner, it really, really helps you. It even lowers your stress. According to research, it lowers your stress. You go to work with a lot of baggage as you are pursuing your career. You see, you go through a lot of stress as an individual, but if you have that support system, that cushion, like glyco, those who have watched those, I mean, that advert before, when we were kids, they used to show it on TV. If you have that cushion, that is always there to support you, to create that safe space for you to come and vent and rant and on the challenges you are going through in the pursuit of your career. Trust me, really helps. And that is why my prayer is that you will not have to collide when it comes to choosing the two. Okay. Um so in many cases I've seen women try to hide their promotion or their scholarships from their men, okay, just because they feel they are going to intimidate the men when they do that. And I think that's a red flag for you. If you are here listening to me, you're in a relationship and you feel your success or your advancement threatens your partner, you need to really hold a conversation. You need to speak to a professional or someone you think the person has more clarity to help you in that situation. But it's generally not healthy for you. Okay, if you have to hide your promotions and all, if you have to lower down your success, you can't be like, babes, you can't imagine what happened today. I've been promoted. I've gotten that scholarship. I've gotten that scholarship to go to that trip and all of that. That you are going, you are thinking, how will he feel? How will she feel? Will they celebrate with me? Will they be happy? That is a concern. Okay. So and I advise in a relationship, sometimes you should ask your partner and read their body language, whether your success threatens the relationship or it strengthens it, whether it threatens or strengthens. You should ask yourself, I've had that uncomfortable situation with my partner. My partner has had that uncomfortable situation with me sometimes when they are like, are you okay? Gordon, are you okay? Anytime I come and tell you that maybe I'm earning this, I've gotten this money from this side job I did, or I've gotten this promotion, I've gotten this scholarship, or I'm going for this trip. Are you okay? Are you fine? How do you feel? How does it make you feel? So we have some of those difficult conversations. And sometimes it's not only what they tell you, you are reading their body language and you're asking yourself, whether are they okay, do they celebrate with you and all of that. And you see, that is very important. I think I wrote an article beginning of this, no, that was last year somewhere, and I was saying that sometimes the test of the strength of your relationship, even not romantic, your general friendships, is not really in how this person supports you when you are going through your tough time. Much more how they celebrate with you when you are in your joyous moments. Because that takes a lot of maturity. Because sometimes your success or your increase threatens or reminds them of their deficiency. So whilst I'm in a relationship and I'm trusting God for a breakthrough, my partner gets that breakthrough and quickly it reminds me of my failure. It reminds me of my inadequacies. It reminds me of my inconsistencies. But if it's about she going through her down moment, of course I can be there to help her, to hold her, to cushion her, oh, baby, to be fine. Small, small, we'll push through. But when she's climbing higher and I'm not really ascending on that same level, it threatens me. So the strength is not really in the fact that he is with you in your low moments, but really whether he can genuinely celebrate your success with you. That is more potent. Okay. So be mindful of that and be reading their body languages in that regard. It will really tell you a lot. Let me go through certain signs that your partner is not really in support of this job or career decision you are going to make. If you hear something like a woman's place is, yeah, I don't want to say it. Yeah, one thing. The best I can be a woman's place in is at the backstage or back there. That place, that means that something is wrong. This person really wants to suppress your ambition. If your woman tells you that, oh, a real man doesn't pursue this career, a real man doesn't pursue this, maybe nurse or teaching or homemaking or whatever, that means that something is wrong somewhere. Okay. If your partner tells you, if you love me, you wouldn't take that opportunity. Scratch the back of your head a bit and say, pardon me, please come again. What were you saying? He says that if you love me, you wouldn't take the opportunity. Please, if you want us to sit and talk, let's sit and talk. Don't be making blanket statements like, if I love you, I wouldn't pursue the opportunity. Okay, so all these things are signs you need to be mindful of. If this person mocks your dream, you attend this person of your dream, whether male or female, you attend this person your dream, how big your dream or vision is, and this person really is like, are you done? Please, let's go and get some Gary Soakins and eat. Now, okay, baby, I will. Now, okay, baby, I will. How shall we do? If this person mocks your dream, It's a big deal. Lisa, please let me know when I should drop the pin. Okay, thank you. If this person constantly downplays your success, like I mentioned earlier, doesn't celebrate with you, doesn't enjoy with you, is not happy with you, and all of that. Okay, thank you, Lisa. That's 1 minute more. You need to be mindful of that. So, what are the signs of healthy love when it comes to your career path? Number one, healthy love negotiates and doesn't dictate. I said it, and that is it. We are not having this conversation again. We are not having this discussion. We are not talking about this. I said it, and that is it. Please really consider. Okay, healthy love will negotiate, will not dictate. Healthy love celebrates promotions, like I said. Healthy love makes sacrifices mutual, not one-sided. So you are not going to shut your dream. Sometimes it's not even about shutting your dream, but for the sake of the advancement of the relationship or marriage, you kind of like put it on hold for both of you to make the right decision, push this agenda. Eventually, you'll pick it up because he'll be there or she'll be there to even support you, promote this agenda, and all of that. So healthy love is really looking at mutual sacrifice, not you are the only one who must put your dream on hold. He is not willing to do that, or he is willing to do that, she's not willing to do that. Like I said, it's seasonal. Some of the decisions must be seasonal. So all of these things will come to bear. Okay. I think I'll pause here and say that I know I haven't offered any ideal, practical, real time solution, but the idea of this first lecture is to give you some food for thought, some things you should consider and play around if you are contemplating your decision. At the end of the day, like humanistic psychology teaches us, you have the willpower, you have the ideal strength within you to forge ahead and do what you actually want to do. You only need external support to help you as you brainstorm on your decisions and what you really want to do. But actually, you have it within you to find that. So we are not supposed to dictate for you as counselors. So I believe that these few nuggets I've given out will help shape and reorient you as you journey through this path. Thank you so much. I'm honored for the time. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Godwin. That was very, very insightful. And I'm sure a lot of us have picked a thing or two from this wonderful conversation. Sorry the time was not sufficient for you to exhaust everything, but you have done so well. And I'm sure during the question and answer session, some questions will pop up that would give you room to elaborate on some of the points. Thank you so much. I, for one, I could relate to some of the things you were saying. I could relate. They're very subtle things, not in a relationship, but even with friends. Not this thing goes beyond sorry, I'm stealing 2 minutes of your time. This thing goes beyond romantic partners. Sometimes you'll be looking out that, oh, I want to be with this person, I want to be with that person, and the person pass very funny comments. You would say something about where you want to get to in future, and the person is like, hey, now we'll be to me Drew. These are very subtle things that you have to pay attention to. It's not just romantic partners, your friends. Sometimes you're telling your friend that, oh, I'm going for this job interview and the pay is 18,000 cities, the pay is 10,000 cities, and even the body language is not healthy for you. So let's take it beyond romantic partners, even though I think in the introduction I made mention that even friendships are love relationships. Friendships are also love relationships. So even in your friendships, please apply all these things that Gordon has said. And some people will not leave the country because of their friends. So you'll be shocked. The kind of things we hear, you'll be shocked that, oh, this my friend did not get the opportunity. We're doing it together. The person didn't get it. And so I'm not going. Please take all these things into consideration. And then when it's time for questions and answers, you would have all the time to ask your questions. So we have another speaker.